Hi CAD to my Mount Ida babies. I'm so sorry that you guys are having just a very difficult college experience now being forced away from campus for a while. So I've been feeling for you guys. Very, very disruptive this is. We have to start learning our program or how to do this in a new program in order to get through the semester. So we are going to start learning how to do pattern design in Illustrator next week. Honestly, it might be really interesting and probably a good skill to have because you guys won't have access to Gerber pattern design um, through through normal means after you graduate. I think we're lucky to be able to continue at all, and luckily we have the buffer of next semester waiting there for us to work through. So we can always catch up next semester on Gerber pattern design and just get through to the end of this semester with Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to intro that next week. This week is just going to be a quick review of tech packs, excuse me, and like how to add arrows to flats and just hopefully really easy stuff. Most of you guys are pros at tech packs, so just really quick review. So on the my courses under week 8, I have listed or linked the tech pack examples that I've shared with you all before. And the easiest thing to do is to click on these and choose download. And then I have unzipped them all, and what they look like is a individual Excel file for each page. So I'm going to open all of these up. So if I choose enable editing on any of these files, I should be able to adjust the images in here and replace them with my own images. I can hit delete and I can choose enable editing. And then insert pictures and navigate to my pictures wherever I have saved them. And it's nice to have saved your Illustrator files as PNGs because then they have no backgrounds. This guy needs to be cropped in order to move it to the spot I want to move it. And you can do a certain amount of like cropping and editing in Excel. There we go. So we would replace these, this with the back view, and if you had a side view you could include that. Otherwise we can just adjust it to say only back view up here. Every page of the tech pack should have the same information up here. You should adjust it to reflect the garment that you have made in your own name. So let's look at some other pages of this. I wanted to start with the skirt front. Again, just as front view, you would adjust the header to be your information and replace this with your plain flats on the front from the front view. And these flats can be black and white, they don't have to be colored. And the ones on the front view and the back view should not have any arrows on them or points of measurement or call outs. They should just be clean flats, and they stay this clean. It looks like I've actually added all of the pages to this page, so we'll use this example from here on out. On the front view and the back view, these are used in the industry for people to make notes on, so you don't want to have any of your own notes on there. Your own notes can go on the details page. So again, this would be replaced with your own info, and all of this would be made in Illustrator and then saved as a JPEG or a PNG and added to this page. None of this text is added in Excel. This is a second details page. Points of measure. This is where your arrows and all of these points of measure are going to become more important. So in a second I'm going to explain how I added, or you can add these arrows. The grade rule page, the most important thing is that it reflects the size that you made. So if you made a size 8, these numbers should correspond under the sample size on the points of measure page. Those numbers should correspond to the indicated sample size in this page, and then you can estimate the grade up and down. And if you're doing something like children's wear size, you can adjust the name of the size. Or if you're only doing small, medium, and large, I have to enable editing in order to edit this. If you're doing small, medium, and large, we can edit these to say medium, small, large, extra small. And at this point I'm comfortable with you just estimating the sizes larger and smaller. You could even have it do some simple math. So if this is 39, we could make this say equal 39 minus 1. And then it would automatically say 38. And if we copy this to the next one, it'll automatically say 37. So if you know how to use the Excel functions, that's a great option for just guesstimating the grade rule. The bill of materials, this is where you should list every single material that you need in order to create the garment and also ship it. So the fabric's going to be the most important, and you're not going to be able to fill out every single square for each material, right? The zipper, you can't fill out the content for the zipper, but you can fill out the length. So just do your best filling these out here, thinking about the threads and the type of stitching you are going to use, and then what type of hang tags, retail tags, stickers, safety pins, how are you going to package this? The construction page involves listing every single seam and every single closure, and discussing how it is linked. You don't have to use these codes that they have used. If you know them, that's fine. Otherwise, you could say straight stitch, serge, right? And I'm fine with that kind of info right now. So just do your best trying to fill these out, and let me know if you have any questions. And then the labels, these involve more descriptions on like how the garment should be folded. This seems to be folding a skirt. Yeah, okay. And any kind of labels that you'll have inside. So whipping up one of these and saving them for all future tech packs is probably a good idea. And just doing your best on the folding instructions, even if it's not a very detailed flat, just getting kind of the idea across, or saying like, do not fold, that kind of thing. So I'm going to launch Illustrator now. So from these flats, which are colored, I wanted to make flats for the points of measure, and also just establish where my points of measure were going to be on these garments. So I removed all the color from them, and I added arrows with labels indicating where all the points of measure are. I have a book which lists all kinds of points of measure and gave me these specific points of measure to indicate for all different types of garments. So it indicates like the hoodie points of measurement, and the t-shirt points of measurement, and the skirts points of measurement, and the jumper or overalls points of measurement. So if you want me to send you pictures from that book, I would be happy to do that. Technically, how do I add the arrow in here? It's pretty straightforward. We grab the line segment tool and we draw a line segment, and let's make sure it has no fill, and we'll change the color. Draw a line, and then in our stroke panel, sometimes your stroke panel might look like this at first, but we can choose show options, and we can find the correct arrowhead and add it to both sides. So I'm choosing arrowhead 13, and if we want the arrowhead to be bigger on both sides, we can do that too. Awesome. So then you can label this with some text, grabbing the text tool and labeling it A, right? You can label each measurement a different letter, or if you want to have some other code, that's fine too. Let's make this a bit bigger. And you can adjust all the way across. If there's somewhere small that you want to measure, like if I wanted to measure this armhole opening, but I didn't have enough room for this H, I could do it by drawing two lines going in like this instead. That's the wrong way. We want none on that side. Right. So with these two pointing, for some reason they ended up with two different arrows, but you get the idea. With these two pointing at the center, then we can label them, and we would know that the space in between them is actually what it is measuring. Here we go. So that is an option. If some space is too small. Hopefully this makes sense. This is just a super quick lecture on tech packs. Please let me know if you have any specific questions and I can go into more detail.